So now that we have our server set up, let's proceed to create our first handler. So this handler will be the health check handler. So what I want to do is to create a new file that will contain this specific handler. So let me go ahead and do that. Inside API, I'm going to create a new file. And this file is going to be called health check.go. Okay, so let's set up a few things. So file name, cmd/API/health check.go. All right, so we know this belongs to package main. And I will import a couple things. Let's import FMT and let's import net HTTP. Okay, so again, this should not be something new. So I'm going to create a method, which is a method on the application type. And I will call this method health check handler. And of course, we need to have a response writer. And a request object or pointer to our request object. Okay, so let's do a bit of hard coding for now. We will replace this by something more dynamic in the next couple lessons. So for now, I just want to hard code the values that our handler will return. So we're going to use W, okay, and we need to provide a string. Let's say status colon available. And let's do the same, but we're going to use fprintf, and we're going to have a formatted string. Okay. So environment colon modulus s, new line, and of course that will be replaced by app.config.env. Again, this app should not be new to you. We are using the idea of dependency injection, which we discussed extensively in the last series. Okay, and let's work on version. So this will be version. Okay, and version, of course, will be a string, and it will come from the version variable. Okay, so that's all we want to do for this handler for now. Okay, so this is enough for us to test our code. So let's open a terminal and let's run it. So go run /cmd/API. Okay, our server is up. Let's navigate to localhost. Okay, and if we go 4000, then page will not be found because we have not specified a home handler. We have specified a health check handler. So v1 for version 1 So the reason I'm using a V, whenever you're building APIs, if you build a first version, we tend to call it V1. If you move on, maybe a couple months later or a year later, you have to build a second version of an API. We'll call it V2, and so on and so on. Okay, so version 1 and health check. Okay, and we get back the response. We could also verify this by using the curl tool. Okay, so if you recall, we would do something like curl, and let's say header information, and then we would say localhost colon 4000 v1 /health check. Okay, and so notice we get back the header information as well as the body because of the -i. So if you recall, the last time, not the last time, but in the previous lessons, if we use a capital I, we only get back the header information. So that's the difference between a capital I and a small I. With the small I, we get back the body in addition to the header. Okay, so that's our response. Notice we get a 200, okay. We get date, we get content length, and of course we get content type. Of course, if we want to add headers, we can do that. But for now, we just want to test to see that our code actually works. Let's check our flags. So let's say that we want port 4004, and we want the environment to be staging. Okay. All right, so notice we have the output starting staging server on port or on 4004. All right, and that should still work. So if we do another curl command, and you'll become familiar with curl in this series of lessons because we will be using it extensively to test our APIs. Oh, okay. Makes sense. I need to change my port to 4004. Okay. All right, so we have achieved our task for this lesson. So what I want to do, I want to perform a Git commit. Okay, so Git status. Okay, I modified main, and of course I added a health check.go. So let me do git add everything. Git status. All right, so they're ready to be committed. They have been staged. Now they're ready to be committed. So let me go ahead and do that. So git commit. The message will be added a server and created a handler to check that everything works. Created a health check handler. Okay, great. So what I want to do now, I want to actually, since I'm happy with my commit, I want to push these changes, this commit, to my GitHub repository. So I have already set up my GitHub repository here. Okay, so Apple tree. Currently, we only have this main.go. All right. So let me push my changes or our changes. So I'm gonna say git push, okay, and of course I need to specify my origin, and it's gonna be main, okay. Okay, so git push -u origin main. Okay, so we made a successful push, and we can verify that by going back to my GitHub account and notice that we have the new health check.go file. Okay, we have main.go where we created our web server, and so everything is correct and synced. All right, so of course, going forward, you'll see me always doing periodical Git commits, and then my pushing those Git commits to my remote repository on GitHub, which is something that you will be learning how to do as well in a future lesson. Okay, I will see you in the next lesson where we will actually create a few more handlers. I'll see you then.